श्रीमान गार्ड आपका निरीक्षण के लिए हाजिर है। गार्ड बगल शस्त्र सेंट्री कर रहे गार्ड विसर्जन।
Honorable Governor,
Honorable Chairman of the Andhra Pradesh State Legislative Council, Honorable Speaker of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, and Honorable members of this August Legislature, it's my honor and privilege to address this joint session of the Legislature on the occasion of the budget session for the year 2026-27. The state of Andhra Pradesh has witnessed significant transitions since its bifurcation in 2014. The government that assumed office that year was confronted with unprecedented challenges, including state reorganization, division of assets, loss of urban conglomeration and the capital city, infrastructure deficits, and an agricultural dominant economic base. Despite limited resources, concerted efforts were made to stabilize finances, improve connectivity, rebuild institutions, and lay the groundwork for long-term development. However, the change in governance in 2019 disrupted this momentum. Systemic governance failures emerged, growth stalled, financial stress intensified, institutions destroyed, total anarchy with breakdown of law and order, arbitrary restrictions placed through misuse of Section 22A, and key sectors such as infrastructure, power, irrigation suffered serious setbacks. Disenchanted by these experiences, the people of Andhra Pradesh responded their faith once again in my government in 2024, granting an unprecedented mandate to rebuild the state. The decisive verdict of electing National Democratic Alliance government reflects their deep trust and confidence in the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu, the committed partnership of Sri Pawan Kalyan Garu, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, and the continued guidance and support of Honorable Prime Minister of India Sri Narendra Modi Garu. Over the last 19 months, my government has followed a calibrated path from revival towards ascendance. Immediately after assuming office, an interim finance plan was placed to stabilize governance and address urgent obligations. This was followed by our first budget, prepared within a short span, which focused on delivering Super 6 and other welfare measures and restarting development activity. Over the next 9 months, corrections were made in policies, system, and expenditure priorities. We then presented a full year budget anchored in a long-term vision. Today, governance has moved beyond revival with welfare, development, and governance aligned to future-ready models. Upon assuming office, my government placed transparency at the forefront by releasing 7 white papers that objectively documented and thereby made common citizen understand the misgovernance in public finances, derailment of the Polavaram project, destruction of the power sector, misappropriation of natural resources, criminal excise policies, deterioration in law and order, and the misguided 3 capital proposal with an aim of destroying futuristic Amaravati that stalled the state's overall progress. By openly acknowledging the problems, my government demonstrated transparency and seriousness of intent. Rather than treating them as standalone reports, government viewed these papers as a starting point for course corrections. Present phase of governance is extremely critical and cannot be considered business as usual. It calls for a clear roadmap and a shared resolve for transformative governance. Accordingly, the government has unveiled the Swarnandhra Vision 2047, placing families and communities at the heart of development. This vision seeks to harmonize prosperity with dignity, growth with equity, and ambition with sustainability. It is in this transformative journey the state draws inspiration from the timeless wisdom of our civilizational heritage, reflected in the Pavamana mantra from the Brahadakaranyaka Upanishad. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamosoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritagamaya. Building on this spirit of course correction, my government has articulated the Padi Sutralu as guiding principles for governance, designed to balance welfare with development and to create a virtuous circle where economic growth through sustained investments generates wealth that strengthens social well-being and social empowerment fuels sustained progress. These principles serve as a moral and administrative compass, placing people at the center of policy while ensuring fiscal prudence, institutional integrity, and long-term sustainability. To translate vision into action, a dedicated mission framework has been initiated, operating with To translate this vision into action, a dedicated mission framework has been initiated, operating with clearly defined objectives, milestones, and accountability mechanisms. Anchored in this guiding spirit, the government has proceeded with focus and resolve. The Swarnandhra vision lays out a clear economic pathway, aiming for sustained high growth to build a rupees 308 lakh crore economy with a per capita income of rupees 55 lakh by 2047. While the long-term pursuit remains firm, the government is undertaking regular interventions and mid-course corrections to stay aligned with evolving realities. A structured review and monitoring framework has been instituted with periodic conferences of ministers, secretaries, and district collectors to assess progress, address bottlenecks, and implement timely course correction, ensuring accountability and continuity in execution. Resurgence to ascendance. My government has embarked on a clear and deliberate journey from resurgence to ascendance, guided by the resolve to rebuild, renew, and rise. The initial phase of governance focused on restoring stability, dignity, and trust through welfare support, economic revival, and administrative correction. Having laid this foundation, government is now shifting towards long-term transformation by investing in human potential, sustainable development, and responsive governance. Policies are being aligned with outcomes, institutions are being strengthened, and citizens are being placed at the center of decision-making. This transition reflects a movement from recovery to confidence and from intent to enduring progress. From the very first year of governance in 2024, my government has moved swiftly to implement its commitments, beginning by making the Super 6 guarantees a super hit, emerging as one of the largest DBT initiatives globally, with spending of nearly 33,000 crores per year and extending well beyond them. Under NTR Bharosa, my government stands firmly with the most vulnerable, benefiting 63.12 lakh pensioners and restoring dignity to daily life. Through Talliki Mandanam, financial assistance of rupees 15,000 per month is transferred directly to over 66 lakh students' bank accounts of mothers, irrespective of number of children, enabling them to pursue education from class 1 to intermediate without financial stress. Women's empowerment has received decisive momentum. The Stree Shakti free bus travel scheme, launched on last Independence Day, has enabled 37.8 crore free journeys by our mothers, sisters, daughters, women, girls, and transgender persons to travel free across the state. Under Annadata Sukhi Bhava, rupees 20,000 per farmer per year is being provided to 46.86 lakh farmers. Alongside this, Deepam 2.0 is easing household burdens by providing 3 free LPG cylinders per year to 1.08 crore poor households. 15,941 teacher posts through Mega DSE 2025 and 5,757 constable posts have been filled. Rupees 15,000 annual support to 2.90 lakh auto, taxi and maxi cab drivers under Auto Driver Sevalo. Over 1.2 lakh fishermen families supported with rupees 10,000 to rupees 20,000 through Matsyakara Sevalo. Over 1 lakh handloom and powerloom weaver families will receive free electricity up to rupee 200 to and 500 units per month respectively from April 1. Now about resurgence of dignity to ascendance of human potential. My government has placed people at the center of governance, recognizing that true resurgence begins with social security and empowerment. From education and health to livelihoods and social justice, welfare initiatives have been redesigned to be inclusive, targeted, and outcome-oriented. Special focus has been placed on weaker sections, women, farmers, and youth to restore confidence and dignity. By strengthening safety nets while enabling self-reliance, government is ensuring that welfare is not merely support for survival, but a foundation for bridging the gap between haves and have-nots. This approach marks the transition from welfare-led resurgence to people-driven ascendance. Now about strengthening social security and restoring dignity. My government has adopted a zero-poverty approach by converging welfare, livelihoods, and institutional support. Instead of fragmented schemes, benefits are being aligned to every household to address deprivation in a comprehensive manner through family benefit management system. Welfare support is linked with skilling, credit, market access, and social security so that families move steadily from dependence to self-reliance. To enhance transparency, a family card will be introduced, enabling households to view benefits received.